Welcome to today's video. Today we're finally doing the mid-year freak out book tag, whatever you want to call it. This tag has been on here for years and years, and I can't believe that I'm finally filming one. It makes me so excited. I'm getting questions from Larry's Reads and honestly questions from everyone, and I'll put them below because some of them I didn't use and some of them I did. But this is basically all of the physical books that I have read thus far this year. So far, I think this year has been a really good reading year, especially because I finished nursing school this year, and for the first 3 months, I really couldn't read. I did finally start to read more frequently again, but it still wasn't very much. It was one book a month, if that. So yeah, I'm really proud. How many books did I read? I read 22 books so far this year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot for me. And we finally started really getting going recently. So a lot of these are very, very recent reads. Some of them are on my Kindle, and I'll talk about those as well. But yeah, let's just get into the questions. I'm so excited. I have them on my laptop. I'm actually going to show you guys how I organize. I'm not doing the story board or whatever because I don't have that, nor do I know how to work it. So I basically use Notion, and I just put them in these little grids, and I put my rating and all that. If you are interested in how I do that, let me know. It's definitely not the most fanciest thing in the world, but that's okay. So we are just gonna start from the beginning with the questions. So the first question is, what is the best book I read this year? If I had to pick one, it would be Fourth Wing. It would be this beautiful piece of work. Need I say more? I feel like a lot of people agree. But this was just everything that I needed at the moment, and I just didn't even realize it. But if I had to pick some other books, let me put that back where it goes because I don't want to get confused. It's hard to just pick one favorite read of the year, so my other favorite reads would probably be, let me just make a mess. Divine Rivals definitely comes second. This is my most recent read, and I'll talk about it later, but this, I still can't even pick up a book. And I mean, it's only been a day, but I don't foresee myself being able to pick anything up for a minute. Other two favorites I had, which were on my Kindle, are Love Letter to Whiskey and Say You Swear. Both of these were just wow. I just didn't expect to love them as much as I did, at all. And my roommate recommended Love Letter to Whiskey, and she told me it was amazing, but I was oh, get to it. And I finally read it on the plane on the way home from Greece, and that's a long flight. Oh my god, I read that so fast. I just inhaled it. And then Say You Swear, I just thought it was going to be a silly little football romance. No, I was wrong. So yeah, those are my favorite reads of the year so far. The best sequel I've read this year is kind of hard because I actually haven't been reading any series because I've completed most of what I have. I have a couple series to get to this year, but we're going to say, because this is technically a sequel, but it's not following the same characters, is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This was so good. I kind of liked it more than the first one. Nothing can be the first one, but this, for some reason, maybe I just related to the character more because the main character, Annie, has anxiety. And I'm sure we can all relate. But I just really liked the dimension in her character. It I don't know. But it was still just a silly little rom-com, and I loved that. She writes just the most lighthearted, funny rom-coms I've ever read. And I don't really read a lot of rom-coms, I guess, but this was good. If you haven't picked up this sequel, it was definitely my favorite. And the only sequel that I've read this year. But, besides the point. For the most disappointing book I've read this year so far is Anastasia by Sophie Lark. I just thought, I had high hopes, I really did. Especially because there's a lot of books by her I want to read. But I love Anastasia. I love the story. I have another like YA fantasy that's based on that, and I ate that up. And so I was so excited to like see if there was gonna be like any dark twist to it, any enemies to lovers. And I know that some people said there really wasn't much romance, and I honestly didn't get to it because I DNF'd it. And I like put books on hold a lot, like put on pause, POP, it's the new thing, apparently. And I just couldn't, it was too much world building and politics and like information dumping, and I think that it could be good though, so like don't take my word for it, but I was trying to read it when I was like working at the hospital like a whole lot, and I just like was picking it up when I had time, and yeah, it just wasn't doing it for me. But I think that just like wasn't what I needed at the time, but I know I'm not the only one that thought it would be a little more fantastical as it was like information dumping, so who knows, maybe I'll pick it up again one day. But that was my most disappointing and the only book I DNF'd. Next question is a new release this year and your thoughts. Do we know which? Who's surprised? This was a new release this year, and of course I have to talk about my thoughts because I loved it so much. Basically, Fourth Wing follows, if you don't know, Violet. She is set in this world where there's quadrants. You have scribes, you have warriors, you have riders, and healers. She's trained her whole life to be a scribe. That's what she wants. And her mother is the general of the riders, and she's not very nice. We don't really like her. And she's like, you're not going to be a scribe. Like, you're going to go enroll and be a rider, and you have 6 months to prepare. So it jumps right in, which I love. I feel like that's one of the best things about this book, is there is no like super like drawn out world building. It's literally bam, like, hey guys, this is what happened and this is where we're going. And I love that. It's so, I feel like that definitely contributes to like why we like the story so much, because it just went so fast. And usually I feel like first books in series can draw out so much that sometimes you're like annoyed that they couldn't just combine the two books, but this was not that, so I love that. And then you're just blown away by how awesome she is. She is blown away herself by how awesome she is, and all the characters, especially the dragons. Oh my gosh, I literally am about to have a print on my wall from this book. I could do so many. Yeah, I just can't. The banter between not only the characters but the dragons, and it just felt so like adventurous, and it really did bring you back to Divergent. It just did. And that I was okay with that. Like, it didn't feel weird or anything. But just read it. Just read it. It's a work of art, and now that I finished it, I have to get Iron Flame in my hands immediately. Like, pre-ordering for sure, because ain't nobody trying to watch that thing sell out again. So, I digress. Okay, next question is the biggest surprise in a book this year, and that would be The House in the Cerulean Sea. I went into it blind, so just like, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew it would be like a cozy fantasy, and reading the summary like made me really excited, but I just did not anticipate how much I would enjoy this, and I have no other way. My nose keeps itching. I have no other way to describe this than it feels like a hug, and just like somebody's trying to heal your inner child just a little bit. And that's exactly how this book felt. Like, I feel like the writing and everything, it almost felt like you were in a Disney movie, but not in a like weird way. I don't know how to explain it. It was just so lighthearted, and it was kind of just like spunky and funny, but it also touched on like some serious topics that like everyone can understand, and it just like dumbs it down, makes it so simple, but that's what makes it so beautiful at the same time. And the found family and the children and all the characters in this book are amazing. I literally felt like a kid again, just like playing and laughing, and I love that. And I think I'm drawn to it so much because I am told that I'm just like a super childlike person. I am working in pediatrics. Like, that's who I am. Like, call me what you want. Disney adult, I don't care. But I think that's why I like this so much. But it was surprising, truly. I will be buying from this author for the rest of my life. So next we have new favorite author, whether it be to you or to the world. Excuse me. I think my new favorite authors are, first of all, TJ Klune. I just said that. Carissa Broadbent. Can't wait to read more of her books. Rebecca Yarros, clearly. Rebecca Ross. From that one. And then Emily Henry, because I did read an Emily Henry book last year, but it didn't really stick with me. It was People We Meet on Vacation, and it just didn't. I was like, oh, cool, another romance. So I'm going to say that I like rediscovered her this year, and she's my new favorite author. Need I say less? Need I say more? What? Oh, I can't with myself. Okay. Next we have newest fictional crush, and that is definitely Xaden from Fourth Wing. I think we can all agree. And then also Rain from Serpent and the Wings of Night. Up there. And then Noah from Say You Swear. Oh my god. Like, I can't explain it. You have to experience it. Next we have a book that made you cry, and I think the book that made me cry the hardest and just hit me in a certain way would be Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'm sorry. I recommend this book so much, and I'm sorry. You have to read it, and you have to be crushed. I just cried. That was it. Another book that made me cry was Say You Swear. I think these two especially hit the most because I just didn't see it coming. Like, I was just like enjoying the ride, and then I was like, oh. So Say You Swear is another one. Serpent and the Wings of Night as well. I don't know why I keep pointing to it instead of showing you. This one did make me cry, but I don't think it'll make everyone cry by any means. Like, it's not that bad. There's just something that happens that I felt kind of attached to. There's just a lot of complex relationships going on in this story. Yeah, and that probably speaks on my mental well-being. But that's okay. I have two more to talk about that made me cry. Also, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow made me cry. I'm not gonna explain. It was just such a raw, deep story, and wow, just wow. We can't be surprised by this one. This one made me cry. Ugh. And it was so bad because you weren't blind. You weren't put in the dark. You knew from the first page what was going to happen. And then we were still upset when it happened anyway. Now we have books that made me happy. That would be House in the Cerulean Sea. I've already explained. Just made me feel all nice and cozy. Happy Place also made me super happy. It was just vibes. I don't know. It wasn't like a super happy story, but it made me happy. I don't know how to explain it. It made me feel like it was okay to be who I am. And then Beach Read, I don't know. I feel like it was just like the vibe. Just, I was just having a good time. So that book made me happy as well. Other books might have made me happy, but let's just face it, the sad ones are more memorable. That's just how I roll. The most beautiful book you've bought this year has to be Fourth Wing because of the dragons. I need a special edition eventually. I would absolutely love nothing more. I think House of the Cerulean Sea is super pretty. I mean, the cover's gorgeous, but just because of the pages, I need every publisher to get on this sprayed edges train, because books are expensive, and I would love to spend $30 on a book just because I have sprayed edges. So it would be my pleasure. I'm just saying. The last like pretty book I bought this year was The Priory of the Orange Tree. I mean, look at that. Look at her in all her glory. Yeah. And I just love that it shine bright like a diamond. Yeah, I just like how the blue pops. I don't know. It's a beautiful book. And that pretty much why I bought it? I don't know. Okay. What books am I excited to read? Or what books do I need to read by the end of the year? Iron Flame, of course. Sequel to If You Had Been With Me. I forgot what it was called, but it's fine. The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King, which I do want to get the little novella first, because I think someone said it, like, you can read it between the two, and this one didn't leave like on a super bad cliffhanger, so I feel like I kind of want to get the novella and then jump into this one, but this is a must read like really soon. Then I really want to get to Red Rising. It's on my July TBR, but I want to finish the whole series. I'm really curious. I have to know what's going on. A Darker Shade of Magic. Need I say more? I just want to be a V. Schwab girly. I've read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I loved that book, and I need more. And I don't know why it's taking me so long, because she's been here. She's been the queen for a while. Also, Magnolia Parks. It's coming. I have to before fall hits. It's happening. Also, Dance of Thieves, and I do kind of want to read Kiss of Deception, because it's on KU, and it's like a prequel season to, not really, it's just like you should read that one first for Dance of Thieves. So I kind of want to read that. Crescent City, it's happening. I've got to read Crescent City and House of Sky and Breath. You know what I mean? House of whatever, Blood, and House of Sky and Breath. I have to read those because I need to be done to read the new release. And then I also want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I want to read the first two before the next one comes out in like 2 months. Yeah. And that's it for the book tag. And now we're going to get into my reads from this year so far. I'm just going to rapid fire. I'm going to just try to tell you my star rating, the vibes. My first read this year was Love Light Farms. I just finished it like right after Christmas season. It was a 4 stars for me. I loved the like Christmas vibes, and it just basically takes place on a Christmas tree farm, and it's just a cute little romance, and that's really all you need to know. Next, I read From Blood and Ash, which we're going to use Kingdom of Flesh and Fire to represent. This is the second book in the series. I listened to the audiobooks. I'm still listening to them. So I listened to From Blood and Ash, finished this one and the third one, and now I'm on the fourth one. Overall series, it's definitely like a 4 star. I think. The first book was a 5 star, I felt like, or like maybe like a 4.75. It definitely has its flaws. Basically, you're just in this magical world that I can't even explain. Just look it up. It's definitely has a lot of smut though. Just know that. I'd be out here at the red lights with my windows down listening to this, and I have no shame. Overall, great series. Love it. The Way I Used to Be. This one was a tearjerker as well. This was a 3 star for me. It basically takes place in high school, and it deals with, look up trigger warnings, but it's just a girl going through her high school years, and that's all I'm gonna say. And I was pleasantly surprised, honestly. I didn't think I would like reading about a high school girl when I'm 25, but I liked it. Next we have The Dead Romantics. I give this a 4 stars. I think at the time I gave it a 5 stars, but I think this got me out of a really bad reading slump, and I love it for that. It basically deals with like, it's like a cute paranormal romance. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. If he had been with me, this is a 4.5. It comes close to a 5, but it's just not like my all-time fave. But 4.5 for sure. Can't wait for the sequel. Another like high school, just coming of age story, just like, you know, going through it like we all did in high school. And it sucks. It sucks. It sucks the life out of you. Next we have Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. 4 stars for sure. I love this. Strawberries. That's all I have to say. No, it's like a mafia romance. They both have to marry each other for the sake of their family, and that's all I'm gonna say. We have Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I gave this a 3 stars. I would say the vibes were great, and that's pretty much what it got its stars for. It was just predictable. The conflict at the end was just predictable, and it just seemed silly. It wasn't even like a conflict. It was more of we're not gonna say anything to each other. We're just gonna walk away and both be uncomfortable. And I didn't like that, but the vibes though were amazing, and the like plot was for the most part really cute. So then I have Love Letter to Whiskey, 5 stars. It follows these 2 characters who meet in college, I think, or the end of high school. It's the end of high school, and things just keep getting in their way, and it doesn't stop. It does not stop. Things just keep getting in their way, and you know that they should be together, and it's just about how long it takes that to finally happen. And the first half of the book at first was the only part of the book, and it goes through just her point of view and how like she sees things and like all that. And then she ended up releasing his point of view and goes back and retells the entire story, but from his point of view, and you're like piecing together all the things, and you're like, whoa. And you might think that's kind of annoying that you're like rereading a book. Like, why wouldn't they just go back and forth? I kind of loved that there was no back and forth, because it was so fast that I kind of like enjoyed the reread, especially because it like refreshed, like, oh yeah, that little thing like mattered, or like that's how he saw this, but I know that she saw it this way. And it's just it's a give and take. You hate them both, you love them both. 5 stars. Yes, that was more than just a sentence. I don't care. Next, Say You Swear. It's 5 stars. No shame. It's basically a college football romance, and there's just drama. It's just drama packed, but it's also just so sweet, and I love their family. It gives like Summer I Turned Pretty vibes just a little bit. I just love the vibes. Just read it. And no, you're probably gonna cry if you cry a lot like me. So then we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. 5 stars. I ate it up. I really did. This was just so much more than a romance. Basically, you can call it a second chance, but it's like a little bit of a twist on a second chance. But it's more than a romance. It deals with a coming of age and how it feels to be older and have these long-term relationships and friendships, and kind of how that can be difficult and how to deal with it. So then we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. I had to get more. I really did. I absolutely love this. It's beach houses, enemies, kind of, not really, to lovers, and it just has a really nice plot. I don't know what else to say. There's a couple supporting characters that are so cute, but the vibes in this are just immaculate. You feel like you're just lounging at your own little beach house, and it's perfect. Then we have Every Summer After by Chloe Fortune. This was a 4 star for me. It definitely gave Love in Other Words vibes, but it's different. It has a bit more drama. It has a younger feeling, but I also like not too much to where like I couldn't enjoy it. And I do feel like I enjoyed it more because Love in Other Words, I read that like 2 years ago or something. So I definitely gave myself enough time to be able to get into this, and I really loved it. I I liked how it was jumping in the past and the present, a lot like Love in Other Words. So I just recommend that if you want to pick this up or the other one, just put some time between the two so you don't feel the need to compare them so much, because I think they're both great. Then we have Fourth Wing. We already know, 5-star. I'm not going to say anything else. Just do it. Then we have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This was hard to rate. I feel like I give it a 4-star only because this isn't something I normally enjoy, but I was surprised by like how much I did enjoy it. It was just so different, so thought-provoking. I literally said in my blog, I was like, this book is making me smarter. Like, I literally was going in there and writing next to things, like, what they meant. Like, there's so many annotations you can't even see, but, yeah. It was such a highlightable book. There's just, like, such good, like, quotes, and it is also just a raw story, and it takes away all the fluff. So, excuse me, if you want fluff, this is not the time, but I needed a break from romance, and that's exactly what I got, and it was great. Then after that heaviness, I picked up When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect, back to back. I read them both in like a day. They're super quick, super funny. If you want just a really fun rom-com, super fast, these are the books to pick up. I honestly liked Practice Makes Perfect a little bit more than When in Rome. When in Rome I give like a 3.5. It was definitely very enjoyable. This one I give a 4 stars. Just because I related to Annie a little bit more than I related to Amelia. But nobody can be Amelia. Like, don't get me wrong, I love her. But I just loved Annie so much. It was so cute. And their little trope, bodyguard and flower girl, and a florist was so cute. But yeah, but When in Rome is also perfect. Definitely don't pick this up without picking this up. It would just be better. But I highly recommend both of these. Then I picked up, I had my romance era, oh my god, I had my fantasy era last week. I did a week of reading fantasy, so the rest of these are fantasy. And first I picked up Serpent in the Wings of Night. I had first started reading it on KU, and then I was like 120 pages in, didn't even realize it. But I was like, no, I want the physical copy, so I ordered both of them because I knew I was going to love it. And yeah, I picked this up. I was sucked into the story. It's great. It's like Hunger Games with vampires. I don't know. I don't want to like spoil too much. It's just like action-packed. It's so complex, just like the relationships and the story, but it's not too complex, if that makes sense. It was very easy to consume while also feeling like there was like tension building the whole time. It was building to the end, and it burst. It sure did. Then I did a reread of Caraval. I actually did it on an audiobook. This got me back into reading. This made me want to be an English teacher. I was just in my reader girl era after this. I'm not an English teacher, but this is, it'll just always have a special place in my heart. So for my reread, I only gave it a 3 stars, only because of the vibes. If it wasn't for how much I still love the vibes, it would be even lower. But when I first read this was 5 stars. So it's very YA. So if you are good with like YA romance and it's like super simplistic, not very like complex, and the writing just feels a little young, then this is great. The vibes are immaculate. It's giving like carnival vibes, like literal Ringmaster carnival vibes, except it's like a treasure hunt through this like magical world. And it follows 2 twin sisters, and I will say there's twists, lots of twists, and it's genius. I just think maybe it just tailors to a young audience. So if this interests you, I definitely think you should pick it up. It was my second go around reading it, so it kind of felt familiar anyway. But yeah, love. Then we have House Number Cerulean Sea. I don't need to say anything else. 5 stars. And then lastly, Divine Rivals. I just finished this. I absolutely adored this. This one basically just follows like rivals to lovers with magic typewriters in the midst of war. That's all I have to say. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. That was everything I've read so far this year. I will put down the questions below for the book tag. I hope you join. Comment down below your favorite read of the year so far. I hope your reading year is going great. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.